what would it look like if we could find a way to
Mhm.
earn income here? This was where we saw the need. We could do something. We could fix this. We could provide this. We could make this better.
You talked about how it became necessary for your family to start bringing in some income. You were there as missionaries, which I'm assuming that since you began your journey in Mexico as a missionary, you had support from other people. Um, but it sounds to me like you came to a point where you needed to actually bring in some extra income for your family. What did that look like? How did you get started? Because I know that so many moms and even dads, sometimes stay-at-home dads, they're looking for ways to bring in income, but they don't even know where to start. I mean, you're just I've even seen people post on social media, I need to make money from home. What do I do? How do I start? What did that look like for your family?
Well, for us, we'd had a series of ministry changes. So the people who had pledged to support us financially in the one thing, may not have carried over to the next thing, and so and so. And so we really did. We were at a point where it was either like go back to the States, which we knew we weren't called to do, or find a way to support ourselves. And we started looking. We're like, what could we do? And it's that question, not I can't do this, or I can't whatever, but what would it look like if we could find a way to
Mhm.
earn income here? And look, what's the need? We're just starting to homeschool our oldest at that point. We had four under the age of 7, I think, around that time. So
Wow.
a fifth one came a little bit later. But at that point, four little ones, just starting to homeschool ourselves, looking at the curriculum we were using, which was a literature-based homeschool curriculum at the time, and thinking, what could we do? And I started researching like what's available for Spanish speakers who homeschool. And I realized that there was only, at that point in history, there was only 2 or 3 homeschool curriculums for them to choose from in the Spanish language. And out of those, you had to speak English to order 2 of them.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And so, like, this is a big hurdle for somebody who wants to educate their children, but doesn't speak English, doesn't know where to get the material, and there is no such thing in the Spanish world yet as a literature-based curriculum, which we loved because I was a big children's literature buff. I had a degree in elementary education and curriculum development. And so this was where we saw the need. We could do something. We could fix this. We could provide this. We could make this better. And I think seeing the need is part of knowing where to start and then researching and take what would it look like and what's the first step and what resources do we have? Who do we know? And in our case, we were able to reach out to an American company that provided an English-based, literature-based education and say, hey, the Spanish world needs what you have. Um, would you let us help you translate your teacher's guides and things and create one? Or would you be okay if we did it ourselves? Because we really feel strongly God is pushing us in this direction. And so those conversations went on for about a year and a half. And eventually that company decided, we love what you're doing. We don't think we need to take on the Spanish at this point. So have our blessing, go and do what God is leading you to do. And so at that point, we went ahead and started working on, first a kindergarten level and then a first grade level. Eventually, we had preschool all the way through sixth grade of this literature-based curriculum where we were finding books that were already in print in Spanish, books about history, biographies, all the things, and then writing the teacher's guide with which you could teach that grade level material from those actual books. Um, a little bit Charlotte Mason, a little bit, Montessori, a little bit literature based, but all hands on and discussion and proving what you've learned by being able to reteach it. And just a really fun curriculum based on literature. And so that's what we did. And we pioneered that then for about the next 12 years in the Spanish community.
I love that. So what's interesting is that you took basically what God had given you, right? The gifts and talents and abilities that he had given you, you figured out where there was a need that needed to be met. And you said, let's figure out how to meet this need. And it's interesting that you say it took a year and a half for you to do that, because I think oftentimes people think like, we have to do this right away. Like we need to do this and it needs to be in works by next week or by next month. And oftentimes God doesn't work that way, right? The timing is always very unique and different to every situation. I'm thinking of Ephesians 2:10, and I actually was reading this before we came on today, and it says, For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. And so just seeing that God created you and your husband and your family for this specific work, and that he took you to Mexico for a specific reason, but then he ended up using you in other ways as well to meet the needs of the homeschool community in Mexico. Well, and I would say probably around the world, because
Around the
if it's a
world. Yeah.
Spanish curriculum, that can be used in all sorts of other countries, Latin countries as well. And so what a blessing that you have been obedient to use the gifts that God's given you to steward them for his kingdom. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.